Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are. Remember, you have greatness inside of you. Welcome back to another AB Daily News with your hockey coach guru, Coach FRENCHY. Today, episode number 253. What you have a minute, coach, today? First of all, Kirby Dach progression from his ex-teammate. Talk about him. Secondly, Jonathan Drouin performance yesterday, 3 assists. His value is increasing. And then finally, a quick recap game between the Blackhawks and the Canadiens last night at the Bell Center. But before we start, we invite you, please don't forget to click on the like, subscribe to the Hockey Nation Live Show, and leave me a comment about this episode. And let's dive in talking about my first subject of the day. My first subject of the day, guys, about Kirby Dach progression. I believe from the beginning of the season, he is the most improvement player since October. Unbelievable the way he played with the Montreal Canadiens. And I think it's very important to mention this. Most dominant players since January 1st. He has the most goal and the most point from any players played with the Montreal Canadiens since January 1st, 2023. Yesterday, his ex-teammate Tyler Johnson from the Chicago Blackhawks said during an interview, Dach is very talented players. His handles shield off guys with his body, his speed, his frame is unbelievable. He was really impressed when the first time he saw him when he played with the Tampa Bay Lightning during the bubble time in 2019. He watched a game between Chicago and Montreal. He said at 19 years old, he was really impressed by Kirby Dach. Then he played together last season. He said, look, this kid is really talented. Plus, he's a really good human being, a great teammate. I really enjoy to play with Kirby Dach when he was with the Chicago Blackhawks last year. Then we have Patrick Kane talk about Kirby Dach. He said, look, I thought he was a good center man. He was good both ways. He could skate up the middle, a lot of speed, ability to make a play. During the interview, he said, I don't understand why they trade Kirby Dach to Montreal. It just make me laugh because Chicago did not only trade Dach, they bring Cap, Agile for the Tampa Bay Lightning. 3 young players could helping the Chicago Blackhawks for long term, but they went to the other direction. Dach, he is one of the best players play for the Montreal Canadiens this season. Then after the press conference yesterday, after the game, someone asked Martin Saint-Louis why DANY is better. And without hesitation, Martin Saint-Louis said, because of Dach. Dach's vision of the eyes help a player like DANY, and his willingness to play without the puck to make sure he's moving forward helps someone like DANY. Just give you an idea how that Dach is for the Montreal Canadiens from the head coach, Martin Saint-Louis. He's not done. Said after that, there is not just one way Kirby can beat you. He is physical. He has one hell of a hockey brain, and he has some sandpaper to him. He can win puck battle. He win back a lot of pucks. It's fun to see. This coming guy for the Martin Saint-Louis is head coach. Just great words we hear from Johnson, Kane, and Martin Saint-Louis. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, the Blackhawks gave up on Kirby Dach too quickly, obviously. And that's the reason Montreal robbed the Chicago Blackhawks to get Kirby Dach. Unbelievable, great hockey player. Really interesting. We know his floor is progressing. We don't know yet his ceiling. This is the word of Martin Saint-Louis. So really interesting. I would like to hear from you guys. What do you think about Kirby Dach for the Montreal Canadiens? What kind of player can you imagine him in the next 3-4 years? Remember, he signed a contract of 4 years at $3.4 million. This cheap. We're going to maybe said again, can you do not until Chicago Blackhawks be make a great deal with Kirby Dach for $3.4 million for the next 4 years. So leave a comment. Tell me what you think about Kirby Dach, and let's move on for my next subject of the day. My next subject of the day, guys, is about the Montreal Canadiens. Trade or not trade Jonathan Drouin. Yesterday we talked about David Savard. Today I want to talk about Drouin. Why? The last 10 games, he has 11 assists for the Montreal Canadiens. Unbelievable performance since he returned from his injury a couple of games ago. First of all, he's increasing his value right now. We know he's UFA, the trade deadline in 3 weeks. Can Montreal trade him or not? If you are Montreal Canadiens, do you resign him? How much? Below 2 million? Below 3 million? Below 4 million? What is the longevity of the contract? 1 year, 3 years, 3 years, 4 years? He's 27 years old right now. Do you trade him before the trade deadline? What do you get in return if you trade him? Is it a first pick, second pick, third round pick, fourth round pick, fifth round pick, prospect A, prospect B? Here is value at his high for me is a second round pick. His value at his low for me is a fourth round pick. Then with this, Montreal Canadiens retaining 50% of his salary to give a chance for the opponent team for up to be under their salary cap. So this is what I expect for Jonathan Drouin if ever he get traded. Second round pick or a fourth round pick, depends the negotiation, and Montreal keep the 50% of his salary. Which team are you looking for, coach? The Colorado Avalanche. They have nothing to lose with Jonathan Drouin. He played with Nathan McKinnon in the past, have some kind of connection. An offensive team like New Jersey, Colorado, Edmonton could use a low cost, a guy like Jonathan Drouin for the rest of the season and maybe join the playoff, and they can maybe sign him for the following year or a couple of years at low price, and he can bring to you a 40, 50 point, 60 point if he play with the right players and play a specific role for the new team. Please leave me a comment about Jonathan Drouin. Trade or no trade, sign or not sign. Let's move on now, guys, for my last subject of the day. My last subject, guys, is a recap game between Montreal Canadiens and Chicago Blackhawks last night at the Bell Center. It's a quick one. I don't want to go deep. Most of you watched the game, but the Montreal Canadiens won by the score 4-0. Jake Allen got his shootout for the Montreal Canadiens. The third line got 7 points. Drouin, Armia, Dvorak. Great performance with the Montreal Canadiens yesterday. Like I mentioned, Drouin, 3 points. Talk about him a few minutes ago. Then David Savard and Justin Barron score for the Montreal Canadiens yesterday with Armia and Dvorak. With 2 goals from Barron and Savard, the Montreal Canadiens in the last 3 games, they have 6 goals from the defensemen. Great performance from Madison, Barron, Savard, and Jordan Harris. With this W last night, the Montreal Canadiens, now for the second time of the year, they have a straight 3W, back to back to back. They score again on the power play goal. And finally, they gave only 5 goals again in the last 3 games. Everything looking good for Montreal Canadiens. They're going to be on the road now for the next 4 games. They start Thursday night in Carolina against the Hurricane. Then they move on to the Toronto Saturday night at the Scotiabank in Toronto. Please let me what you think about the performance of Montreal Canadiens. Tell me one specific player really stood out from you. And we complete, guys, all the subject we have for this episode. Here we go, guys. Today we talk about Kirby Dach progression, the recap game between the Chicago and Montreal Canadiens. Do you trade Jonathan Drouin? Let me know, please. But before we leave, we want to remind you, click on the like, subscribe to our Canadian show, leave me comments about this episode, sharing this video on your social media. And finally, I want to remind you, of course, you have greatness inside of you, and we wish you an amazing, blessing day, everybody.